morning, everyone. Thank you for arriving today as well. This is already day 2, and unfortunately, the last day of the very first AI weekend within the Weekend Media Festival. For anybody who is joining new, we have QR codes after the speakers' presentations, so just scan the code and ask the question that you would like to ask, and I will ask the question for you guys. So let's kick off day 2 and welcome our first guest on stage. He has a big mission, a message to give to you to take home, a framework for common sense. Welcome with me on stage, Oria Niculescu, Senior Engineer for Data, AI, and ML at Google in Demystifying the AI Dream. Welcome on stage, Oria.
One, two. Hi, hello everyone. First, thank you for that intro. That's great. Woo, okay, cool. Now I can talk. Thanks everyone for joining. I know it's early, so big kudos for everyone in the room right now. Now, again, it's what we will be talking today. Well, nothing new. Like, it should be, like boring things that you already know, things that everyone talked about yesterday, we'll talk about today. What I feel that we don't have at the moment is a framework, right? And let's see, where should I point? A framework. And what's a framework? Well, if we ask Google, it's a basic structure, underlying something. It's a mental model. You can use it however you want. So this is the approach. A framework needs to be, needs to have a lot of stuff, like whatever, easy to understand, easy to expand, and based in reality. Okay, cool. Why do we have this? Well, first and foremost, I'm a customer engineer, which means that I help teams deliver on their mission. And that's, from high-end, from setting up the mission and then building up the roadmap, checking the solution architecture, going all the way down to code. And I have these conversations, right? Like, oh my God, this is crazy. Everybody wants to do AI right now. Ooh, we live in the AI age. That's nice. But then again, we also go on the next layer. And we say, we have AI, and then we have data. Again, most companies don't yet have the framework, the systems to collect data, but we're cool. We check that as well. And then we go forward. I ask them, hey, are you checking out AI right now? Do you have any projects, POCs running? Oh yeah, definitely we have. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Let's just assess the customers, the teams that have already implemented at scale. And that's only 5%, which is like crazy, right? Everybody's trying. Very few are actually implementing at scale. I'm not talking, like having Gemini in Gmail helping you write some emails. No, I'm talking, right, having impactful solutions that go all the way down to all your customers, not just an A/B test for 2 or 3%. Cool. So what's the next step? The next step is playing bingo. Like I get the question, hey, Horia, what are the use cases? Please help me. Like we have this mission coming from the board down. Like we need to find these use cases and implement them in our workflows. And I'm like, okay, this slide, another 20 slides of saying, okay, cool, what do we want to do? You want to go for the low-hanging fruits, for the transformational thing, whatever, and we start playing bingo, bam, bam, bam. Like it's a pick and choose. We go to the marketplace and we hit bingo. And then we do the POCs. Some of them work and some don't. So this is not sustainable, right? Like playing the bingo game and then taking up the use cases. So let's check out how we should approach this kind of project. So we have the bingo, and then we're splitting it in 2. Now, let's try to understand the organization structure, the processes, and everything in between. And then let's also understand the technology. Cool. So this is the framework that I propose, having this. By the way, I see people taking pictures, take them fast, because I will go through it like crazy. We have a lot of animations here. Now, we have an activity, right? A business has a lot of activities. You put together activities. For example, I have a coffee shop. I need to import, coffee from Brazil, roast it here locally, and then, like distribute it to all of my coffee shops. There are so many activities. Place a PO, contact the vendors, set up the roasting facility, whatever. So an activity has a lot of tasks. And inside a business, you have a lot of these activities. But we also have, when we talk about an organization, we need to somehow organize all of these activities, right? Based on their flavor, based on their output. So an organization does exactly this. Like, this is nothing new. I told you that I'm not saying anything new. We organize all of these tasks into roles. The roles, a job may have multiple roles, like me, myself as a customer engineer. I'm a cloud architect, data engineer, data science, community lead, trustful advisor, whatever. These roles have different activities and different tasks. Okay, cool. So this is what an organization does. If we're moving forward, an organization also has another thing that everybody here, is aware of. You have the individual contributor, team lead, manager, director, VP, C-level, and the board. Again, nothing new. Bam. Usually all of this is defined in the organization. All of these, of course, have their own, things. The higher you go, the more vision you have. The lower you go, the more execution. The planning, everybody says right now that middle management would be killed by AI. Well, I don't believe that. That's facilitating, enabling, planning, and a lot of stuff. Whatever. Let's see why that doesn't hold water. Now, let's take the organizational X-ray. So we have, this is a very simplified way of looking at an organization, right? And then we have usually the core activities. For example, for my coffee shop, one of my core activities is to select the coffee blends, right? I want, like an Arabica, which is rich, flavored, mildly earthy, whatever. And then I have the non-essential, like marketing, maybe procurement, maybe some HR, some legal, all that kind of stuff, which are further from the core. This is really important whenever you're assessing to implement AI in your business or to build solutions for other companies. Because this is how we would approach them. Then we have another dimension, we have the execution and the delegation. So we already have two axes on how to assess the organization. But then again, we also have something else, like these axes over here. From bottom to up, you have a short-term accountability with a long-term accountability. We will talk about that because right now AI cannot be held accountable, especially for long-term, which is crazy. We need to somehow enable mechanisms to hold the AI accountable. Insights, the lower you are, the more insights you have, like minute, granular stuff, but the higher you are, you have insights which are hidden, like market, all of that kind of stuff. And then we also have the proximity for the leadership style, as an individual contributor, I influence the people around me, but then again, you have an indirect leadership style on top. And then you have the ambiguity, right? Like usually individual contributors work in an unambiguous environment, while leadership work in a very, highly ambiguous environment. Again, boring stuff, I know, you already know this, you live it every day. So if you already know this, then why are we having that bingo stuff, right? Because you already have all the information required to actually see where AI can help you. So let's see how that might turn out. Now, that's on the organizational side. Now let's also look on the AI side. We have a task, and tasks actually have a lot of actions. For example, forward me the last email to my team. There are actions. Open up the email, the inbox. Filter the email. Forward the email to a mail recipient list. Hit enter. These are all actions, right? Like atomic things. Now, we have two things over here. First is the physical type of actions, like carry, push, move, sort, whatever. This doesn't work. AI cannot do anything like that because it's physical. And the digital, like read, write, summarize, stuff like that. Yay, 2 thumbs up. So we already have a big filter of what AI can do and cannot. Why? Because one is solved with robotics. That's the future of AI. We need to also penetrate the reality of stuff. Like, hey, just throw this bottle over there. AI cannot do that. so we need robotics. But then again, in the digital space, yay, we have 2 thumbs up, almost everything goes. Okay, so far so good. Now, when it comes about technology, we have predictive AI, which is kind of boring, like all the ML use cases, all the predictions, Arima Plus, scikit-learn, whatever, not sexy. And then we have the generative AI, which is kind of cool. Everybody's doing that, like text generation, code generation, formatting, all that kind of stuff. But still, I believe that we're past that, because we are somewhere over here, multimodal generative AI, and we'll see immediately why. Now, 3 years ago, we were doing predictive AI. 1 year ago, we were doing generative AI, and right now we're talking about multimodal. So, on one hand, we kind of know the basics of an organizational structure. On the other hand, we kind of know where we stand with all the AI stuff. We will focus on multimodal. A quick example right now. I've worked with a big telco just before, let's try to see it in action right now. I worked with a big telco. They were running just after, COVID hit. They had to reshuffle everything. They've sent all the call center agents working from home. They were using like 8 types of call center servers, mono, stereo, 8 bits, 16 bits. It was all over the place. So in 2022, they said, hey, we really need to analyze what's going on, because we don't have a single system like people sitting everyone in the same office. So let's try to break out the activities. We had gather all the audio files and then do the speech to text transcription, like get the text, and then do sentiment analysis, entity extraction, intent extraction, pattern matching, like, hey, what was that all about? Was it positive? Was it negative? All of this took like 4 to 6 months, depending on who you ask. I would say 6 months. If you ask them, they say 4 months, but it wasn't in production. 6 months to implement something like this. Okay, and these are all activities, right? All of them have tasks underneath. And then AI was launched, generative AI was launched. We already had a 5 gathering in 2023. We met with them, we said, hey, there's a cool thing going on, which is called Gemini. You already have the speech to text, the transcripts of the files, bam. If you already have the text, why not just push to Gemini? Ask a question. How did my agent engage with the customer? Did my agent greet well based on this template? Did my agent try to cross-sell, upsell, whatever? All of these were questions asked in natural language, and it freaking works. It went into production, everybody was patting, our backs. Woo, such a great project. 2024, we do the QBR, the quarterly business review, and then we say, hey, we have this new thing going on. You already have the audio files. Why not send them to Gemini 1.5 Pro? What is that? Well, you can ask audio files, stuff. How's that going on? And we were doing a demo, less than 5 minutes. You can do it right now, like just open up your laptop, go to gemini.google.com or console.cloud.google.com, Vertex AI, and then just simply drag and drop a file and start asking questions. Audio file, video file, document, invoice, whatever. Ask questions, and it freaking works. I was doing this in less than 5 minutes. We ran the demo, and we convinced everyone. We were like, woohoo, that's so great. The project didn't fly because they really are, even if they are very open to technology, like this was a bit too much for them. And right now they're like, hey, we really need to see the text, the transcript files, etc. But the technology is there and it works. Now, audio, multimodal, this is the thing that made it possible. But then again, what's up in the future? Like, are we going to have this in 2025? Well, like, who here has heard of Project Astra from Google? Okay, Google it. It's really cool. This means that we really don't need to have the file gathering anymore. We will implement generative AI live in a conversation, in a video, in whatever, and it's there. So we really, when we think about all that framework, right, of breaking tasks into activities, breaking activities into tasks and then into actions, it's there. Like multimodal AI can do it. So, with this being said, we have this organization. In reality, this map is huge. Like this is a very, very simplified, like 5%, 10% of a company. Now, let's see what we're having now. Come on, work. Now, some of them are physical, right? Some of these tasks are physical. We cannot do it. Okay, cool. Now, some of these tasks are close to the core. For example, I have the coffee shop and somebody comes up to me and say, hey, Horia, I have an AI algorithm that will help you select the best blends of coffee. I'm like, are you crazy? I'm the expert here. I know the best blends. Don't give me an AI, a generic AI that gives me the best blends. This is my core activity. This defines me as an organization. Definitely, like I will be averse to implementing AI, and I'm seeing this with a lot of companies. The closer you are to the core, the more pushback you have for implementing AI, which is crazy. But still, that's a fact. This is why I put it in the framework. Now, unreliable, right? Like AI right now is not 100% there. We still have hallucinations. We still have some answers that don't particularly align with reality, even if they are not hallucinating. Maybe they are in poor quality or whatever. But then again, we have these things, which is almost there. Like, it does the job, and it will help me. And then, of course, the final thing, we nail it, like AI ready. So usually this is how you would look, right, into an organization. So why are people here on stage saying, yeah, AI is a fad, it doesn't work right now? Like we tried it and it didn't work. And then there are people like, oh my God, this is such a success story, we did it, it works. Why? They are both right. And we have this, right? Usually the people in the core would say, AI cannot replace talent. We have domain knowledge, and your AI right now doesn't have the depth of the domain knowledge of our experts. 100% correct. Then again, just take the base model and fine-tune it with domain expertise. And then we have the second thing. AI is stupid, oh my God, it doesn't work because look, we gave it like just 4 simple tasks and it did not work. Okay, cool, it's not for you, not now. And then again, all you can do is read emails. I've got this, unfortunately. And then we have almost there, right? Like you have multiple tasks and just 1 or 2 of them are, like, meh, okay, cool, almost there. And then you have the happy path. Oh my God, we love AI. And this is how you explain in a basic way why in the same company, on the same stage, people are, like giving you conflicting ideas. Why? Because of this, right? Now, this is to understand why we have different opinions and why almost everybody is right, almost. Now, what can we do with this information? Well, if you're a builder here in the room and you want to build solutions for your customers, then you have, you have these specialized agents in improved reasoning. Is it too close to their core? Yeah, then just make them smarter. Use their own data. Do fine-tuning on the models with really in-depth information. You have these, like naysayers. That's a high risk, high reward. If you manage to crack this nut, then that's great because a very few people would do it. Low-hanging fruits, yeah, definitely. Like you only have this task 7 over here. Improve that. Focus on that particular type of task, and bam, that's it. You should be done. And then, of course, when everybody can do it because the models are here, are ready, it's just a UX heated battle. Everybody will jump on that because it's totally doable right now, and you just need to increase the user experience for that. Okay, so this is for builders. What about for users, right? You want to implement this technology in your own company, in your own workflows, whatever. Now, the thing is, if we check this, it's already boosting our productivity. We took everything that is not working. And look how many things we still have on the map. Everybody will use email in a company, and everybody will be positively influenced by having the summarization and by having a quick reply. Bam, that's it. That's how you can infuse the technology in a company, usually by email, by chat, and you take the common denominator. You take the technology, you take the tasks that are done, that are completed by everyone in the company. And usually, like that's checking some documents, doing summarization, talking with people, all of that. And this is why we see AI a lot in email apps, conversation, chat apps. because that's where builders have the highest reach. Okay, so far so good. Now, consumers, and this is, the punchline at the end before jumping really quickly into some examples. Builders need to fill the gaps, but for that we need to identify the gaps with the organizations and with the tasks that we have at hand. And then again, consumers need to rethink their processes, right? Like you have this process over here, for example. The role has an activity and the activity is not yet enabled by AI. Just change it. And that would bring, like a massive boost. We had this activity over here, right? We only have one task that is not compatible. Are available right now with generative AI and the technology is ready. It's just a matter of putting something like this together. I've talked with coffee shop owners before running this demo, and no one is approaching their business like this. Why? Because they did not have the technology. And I'm like, okay, but didn't we agree 2 slides before that maybe you should just change a bit your modus operandi in order to harness the capabilities of Gen AI? 2 thumbs up. Oh, yeah, that's right. So yeah, anyway, if you want to cover like these type of use cases, I still have like 10 slides, but we're out of time. Let's catch up with the coffee after and yeah.
Gloria, thank you so much. I really like the way you presented the topic, especially how you broke down on this one slide with the task, the processes in a company into small little chunks, let's put it that way. I feel like that's the way how you as an engineer look at processes, right?
I believe that any company which goes above a certain threshold, usually 100 to 100 employees, would need some line of chief operating officer. And usually when we engage with teams, me, myself, right, like as a technological consultant, I engage with the CTO, the CIO, the CSO, security, information, technology, but not that much with operations. But right now, AI is mostly about operations.
Exactly.
So we need to shift a bit the conversation.
Exactly. Thank you so much. So let's look at the questions. Also, I wanted to greet, we have speakers from yesterday in the room, Rafal, and speakers from today, Mazin in the last row. Hey, hello. So let us look at the questions. Oria, what do you think that, why do you think, that AI won't kill the middle management?
So right now, our society is ingrained, we are embedded with the carrot and the stick. If I'm taking a decision now and it will have positive impact on my corporation, then I will get a bonus in 6 months. If I do something bad once, maybe nothing happens. If I do something bad over and over and over, I need the accountability, and based on that accountability, I get the stick. And this is not from a company. This is how we are ingrained as a society. This is how we work together. AI does not have that. AI is a simple prompt that you send to an API, you send it to a model, and you get a response back. It does not have accountability. Oh, we can work about that. We have people in the room saying, yeah, but we have so complex agents, and then you can build some of this accountability in the agent. We're not there yet. When we will be able to put accountability into this, then definitely we might express a middle management, not taking the job, right, but enhancing it. But until then, it's not doable.
Great, yeah. Regarding accountability, maybe you will add to that exactly. The question is if by enhancing accountability of AI, of the technology, will we reduce our accountability or enhance? Like, where are we?
AI is just a tool. It's like asking me, hey, Horia, if you're using Google Sheets or Google Slides, I've used Google Slides, right, to create this presentation. Are you more accountable for the things that you say on stage? Hell no, right? That's just a tool, and that's just a medium that helps me send a message to you, right? I'm still accountable. If there would be, like a speaker box over here with an AI, and it would be end-to-end covering my entire role, not only a task, not only an activity, but the entire role or the job itself, maybe. But until then, no. This is why we broke down, and we've seen that there are so many elements, and in order to replace something, You need the entire thing. Either rethink it, as we've shared, or cover all of the tidbits.
And regarding exactly that, in terms of governance, I think Julia from Cross asked that. Hello, Julia. What is your take on that? I think it's more about regulation, right? Yeah, regulating AI.
We need regulations, period, right? Anything that has this impact on society needs to be kept in check by some governing body, right? We have this. IT, the tech industry usually regulates itself. Look at what happened with containers, for example, right? It's a bit, like an in-depth topic. But there were all of these solutions, and then everybody said, hey, something? The CNF said, hey, let's sit together at the same table, let's have standards, and then let's roll out these standards so that everybody can use the same type of technology, et cetera, et cetera. This happened. So that's one. And second, right now we have a big issue on efficiency. For example, I'm telling Gemini, hey, Gemini, give me a synopsis of this email, and based on that, book me flight tickets to Rovinj in 2 weeks. So what it does is, I send it with, like natural language. It will transform my text into tokens. So far, so good. Send it to my email, check the email, fetch the dates, fetch all the details, get back, transform them into natural language as well. Then go back to another system, do some stuff. Transform into natural language. Go back to a system, transform into natural language. Right now, we don't have peer-to-peer, AI-to-AI conversations, and we're so lost in translation. And that definitely is reducing the efficiency of our systems. So with governance, we should also start developing a peer-to-peer, an AI-to-AI connection framework.
Okay, thank you so much. We will also have a panel about that later in the afternoon, about the AI Act as well. And maybe the last question from our speaker, who will also, Mazin, who will talk about bureaucracy, as we're about to talk about legal and regulation. You displayed a great organizational structure, AI, graphical representation. What model do you suggest to measure the AI maturity of the organization?
We don't yet have this, right? And the AI models, if we talk about the models themselves, like Gemini 1.5 Pro, 1.0, whatever, Nano, GPT, Claude, whatever. If we talk about these models, they evolve so fast, literally from week to week, that it's, I would definitely endorse Google's, right? Because we came up with the technology, we came up with the idea, we build right now Gemini, we're leading in the multimodal, whatever. But there's no model that you should use. So no single model that you should use. That's one. And if you think about, like a framework on how to assess that, well, I have my take on this framework, and you can also develop your own.
Thank you so much. So multiple strategy. Thank you, Oria.